Hey guys, welcome to Chief Pigskin's YouTube channel. You're about to watch a home clinic where we find one quality coach and he talks on one very specific subject. If you'd like to see more of these come your way, please like and subscribe below and check us out at clinic.chiefpigskin.com.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Chief Pigskin Home Clinic. My name is Anthony Gonzalez. I'm the head football coach at Everett Alvarez High School in Salinas, California. Today I'm going to be joined by Kenny Simpson. He is the head coach at Southside High School in Arkansas. He is also the author of Find a Way. He's been on multiple podcasts. He has a lot of courses out on CoachTube right now, so go ahead and check them out when you're done with this. And he also has a website. It is fbcoachsimpson.com. Is that right, Coach?
Yes, sir.
Cool. How you doing this morning?
Hey, man, I'm excited to be on here, and it's pretty cool to partner with a company like you guys.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Well, today you're going to be talking about RPOs in the wing T system. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's kind of what people like to hear when I talk, so I'm excited to talk a little buck sweep and then a little bit of RPO mixed in.
Cool. I know, like, for myself, I am actually a pretty big wing T guy. For my school, it's kind of like changed the culture of how the kids perceive football and how they think it should be played. I just really enjoy the system. I grew up in it. I was a product of it. I was lucky enough to play fullback in it, so I got to carry the ball a lot. What's your background behind it?
Well, I was a defensive coordinator for a long time, and during that time, I was a defensive coordinator when a guy was running the true wing T, the under center wing T, old school way you run it. And when I became a head coach, I said I would never do that because it was boring and all this stuff. And so I went to Tony Franklin's system, and I went spread and slinging everywhere. And in Montgomery, that was pretty good for us. I coached in Alabama. We had kids that could do that stuff. It was really good. And took the job in Arkansas, and we had a whole different kind of athlete that I'm dealing with up here than I was down there. And so we were spread for a while, and just it wasn't working as well as we wanted it to. And so we needed something different. And I remembered there were some awesome things about the wing T that we wanted to keep. So we've gone to we call it the gun T RPO system. We've kept what we think are the best parts of the spread world, and we've brought in the best parts of what we think are the wing T world. And so to us, it's enabled us to have the part of the wing T where you have the system built in, where you have, you kind of a series-based offense, so buck, counter, trap, and you have the waggle and the flood. You have all of these systems brought in, but then we've brought in the RPO world with it from the spread world,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really made it pop for us. It's really been very successful for us.
That's interesting. I mean, honestly, like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of being a little selfish because I really wanted you on too because before I took over the program, my kids came from a spread team, so like they weren't down that we're running the wing T. Like, now they love it, but those seniors are like, "Are we gonna throw the ball a little bit more?" I'm like, "I don't know. It depends on what I learn this offseason." So I'm kind of excited, to bring that to the table and maybe implement some of this stuff in our offense that we have out here. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and share your screen and get started.
Hi, man. Well, I appreciate you having me on, and this is my contact info, and make sure this is sharing, right, Coach? So hopefully it's through. Okay. This is my contact info, and I get to talk a lot of places, so sometimes I'll get rolling. So, guys, if you're listening and I go too fast through something, you can find me on Twitter. You can shoot me an email. You can shoot me a text. Now one thing that I have that I've never had before at this point in the season is time. And so I actually have time to answer. Coach mentioned earlier, I've put a lot of this stuff on CoachTube and out there with the anticipation that I wouldn't have time. So if you want to go watch it visually and get more in depth, I've got it on my own site and on CoachTube as well. But hopefully I'll be able to go through a lot of this stuff quickly through. As you can tell, I've given this clinic before a couple places, but this is buck sweep and RPO. So like the first part of it, we're going to deal with how to run the buck. If you are a spread guy, then to you, some of this stuff is going to be brand new. And so I'm going to walk you through it like I had to learn it because I was coming from a spread world. So the blocking part, okay, what drills do we run? How do we do this? So I'll walk through that stuff first. because to us, the RPOs are awesome, but if you can't run the buck, then it doesn't matter. It's not going to work. You need to be able to run the ball and then put in the RPOs off of that. And so that's kind of what I'll be going through. Our philosophy on RPOs is to protect it. We're protecting our run. Where a lot of spread guys are running RPOs because they want to pretend they want to run the ball. We do want to run the ball. We're just using the RPOs to kind of protect the run, to keep the box light or make you pay if you decide to load the box. Background information, Coach mentioned it quick, so I'll go through it quick as well. Graduated from 03 at Harding, which is in Searcy, Arkansas, which is how I ended up back in Arkansas. I had never been in Arkansas before then. I had played 1 year at Greenwood, Arkansas in 96. And then we moved all over. My dad was Air Force, so I played football in 3 different states throughout my career. So was everywhere. Got a job at Madison Academy in Huntsville, Alabama for 3 years, kind of worked my way up the chain, started out junior high, worked up to senior high, took a defensive coordinator job in Montgomery. And so I was there for 2 years as a defensive coordinator. And then at 27 years old, I was handed over the keys to a 4A job in Alabama, which most people know is pretty good about football. And so I had to learn a lot of lessons the hard way, which Coach alluded to is why I wrote a book. Maybe it can help you guys if you're a young head coach. So did pretty well there, maybe in spite of me. We had a really solid 2 years there right off the bat, and then moved on to Arkansas. At that point, my little girl was going to be in kindergarten, and so we wanted to get to a place we could send her to school. We couldn't afford private schools in Montgomery, and so we moved to Arkansas, to Southside, which is near Batesville, Arkansas, and took over probably a job that most people said was a career killer. They were not very good. No one saw a way they could be good. It wasn't those kids' fault. They were in probably the hardest conference in 4A at that point, and they were brand new to football. They had football for 5 years. So you're dealing with first-generation football players that have no idea what they're doing, and you're dumping them into these traditional powerhouses. So it was a tough start for sure. It was a rebuild for us. We put in this system. I mentioned earlier we were spread because that's what they knew, and we just kind of worked with it. And we put this system in around 2014 or 15. 15, really, we got pretty hardcore with it. And you can see the results from it on the page there. We started making the playoffs. We've won 2 of the 3 conference championships the last couple of years. And it's really worked well for us. It's blended well with our kids because it's enabled us to control the clock, to run the ball, but not allow teams to completely load up to stop the run. So we like it because we think it blends the best of both worlds. It brings in all the RPOs from the spread world and the screens and the QB run and all the stuff that makes a spread hard to stop. And it brings in the stuff from the wing T that's very difficult, a tight end in a wing and a 4-man surface. And now defensively, it's almost like you have to play us split field. You got to play the tight end wing side and you got to play the spread side. And then that's before we start doing formation moves. So it makes it tough, we think. Again, here's my information, guys. I've moved to a new email. So I've been starting to get a lot of emails from coaches. So it's fbcoachsimpson@gmail.com. My Twitter handle is fbcoachsimpson. My website's fbcoachsimpson.com. So it's hopefully easy to remember. And then that's my cell number. Guys, I've got time, so shoot me a text if you want to get together and talk more about this later. That's hopefully enough background information on my career. Now here's background information on how we kind of arrived at the gun wing T. So the 2 years before then, we were really struggling trying to find an identity. Offensively, I knew the spread pretty well, but eventually in the spread, teams are going to go man zero, and your guy's got to beat their guy. I mean, that's how football comes down to it in the spread, and we didn't really have that guy that could beat your guy. And so that didn't work really well for us. At Southside, I've got some of the best kids I've ever been around, and I love these kids. That's why I'm still here. We're not really going to have what I'd consider like a Division I player or a real running back, or in Montgomery, I'd have 3 or 4 of those a year. And so it's taken me a while to adjust to what I've got. And so we're playing teams that if you just go athlete for athlete, 8 of the 10 weeks, maybe 9 of the 10 weeks, we're not going to win that battle. And so we've got to come up with something different, think outside of the box. And so the teams we're seeing here, I don't know about the rest of the country, most of it's spread. There's nothing wrong. I'm not anti-spread, so I hope people aren't hearing me that way. I ran it and I love it. But we see that every week. You know, we line up against 2x2 and 3x1 and even empty and even 20 personnel. We practice that the first day we do install on defense. The last thing that we usually got to was the double wings and the wing tees and the veers. So those teams, if you watch college football, have a built-in advantage because their system is so different. And now I have 3 days to get ready to play that. And so that's something we wanted was what can we do that's going to give us a huge advantage in a game. You know, I can't imagine, because I've been there, I guess I can't imagine trying to prepare for a double handoff in practice with your scout team running backs. That's probably not going to go very well. So the first time we run that in a game, I mean, it's going to hit so much quicker than they're able to simulate. And so that's something we wanted. We wanted to be different. So this is our base alignment. If you're a spread guy, you'd call this 21 personnel. We just call it red. You know, we move our line, strong right, strong left. We feel that gives us a huge advantage because now we don't treat our linemen like just linemen. We treat them individually specific. So that means our guards work certain blocks. Our strong tackle only has about 3 different blocks he makes in our offense. And so a lot of times our linemen will go with position guys. So our guards will go with our running back coach, and our wings and our tight end will go with our lineman coach. So our practice looks completely different. That could be a whole other session, but our practice looks completely different because we work in what we call pods. So not position-specific groups, but pods. So our guards that are going to pull kick, pull wrap on most of our plays, half the time they're spending with the running back coach because the running backs are working with them. We want to get extremely good at it. And I'll show you a couple drills as we move here on running the buck. And when we run our version of the belly, the same guard wraps that wraps on buck. And so it makes that kid's job so much easier. Then you can see if you're a defensive coordinator, you're going to almost have to cover this like it's a split field team. You got to play spread on the left, and you got to play a wing tee on the right. And here's the deal. I don't know about other guys you're playing against, but most teams I'm playing against, the kid that's going to handle the tight end wing side looks a lot different than the kid that's going to handle the spread side. So we're just going to line up and shift if you could line up 2 different. And so it gives us a huge advantage moving forward. This is the base way we're going to run buck sweep. So we put buck sweep in day 1 install. This is roughly what it's going to look like. And I'm going to walk through when you run the buck, you got to handle play side issues and you got to handle backside issues like any play you're going to run. So the first part of this presentation is going to deal with how do we handle all the stuff on the play side? What blocking drills are we using and what are we teaching? The second part of it's going to handle on the backside. How are we protecting this play with RPOs? If you heard me speak before, guys, I mentioned this word a lot, and it kind of is a pun, but I've adopted it. I want the most bang for your buck as possible. So that means if I'm going to put in buck sweep, it's kind of an expensive play to be good at. So how many different flavors of buck sweep can I give you? And my line learn the same exact thing. So they're getting really, really good at running one thing, but I can dress it up with my other kids so that to a defense, I can RPO any of your guys on the backside, and I can adjust the blocking on any guys on the play side. So there's not an answer you can come up with defensively that we've not thought of already. Because remember, I've got all year to get ready for you. You got 3 days to get ready for me. And so offensively, we got a huge advantage. But basically, we teach the buck. So if you're looking at the play side, is we teach gap down backer blocking. And if you're a wing T guy, you can probably fast forward here for about 5 minutes because you probably know this stuff. If you're a spread guy, I had no idea what any of that meant. Okay, so gap down backer simply means we're going to block the defensive lineman in the gap. If there's nobody in the gap, we're going to block the guy head up, our buddy, so our guy to the inside. Over here, I got to make this work. Our wing back has a guy in the gap. He's going to block him. He's going to block the guy in the gap. Our tight end has nobody in the gap. He has nobody head up the tackle, so it's gap down backer. He's going to go to the inside linebacker at the same path he'd be working on. And then our strong tackle on this gap. Down means head up. So if I had like a 2 technique, head up the guard, we're going to block down on that. Our center blocks on backside. So if I've got a guy head up me, I got him. If not, I'm blocking backside. And then our guards do the same thing every time. We pull kick with a strong guard. We pull wrap with the quick guard. And I'm going to go through some drills that we do that help us, that have just been something we've kind of come up with. I did not mention our quick tackle because he's our RPO key. He's the one kid on our team that's got to learn multiple things on the offensive line because his block is tied into the RPO we're going to run. Okay. Then our receivers over here on this one, day one, are going to run a now screen. And we run it like every spread team does. Our number 2 receiver is going to step on the toes of the receiver. If the corner comes to force, we're going to block him. If the corner does not come to force, we're going to hinge back and block most dangerous threat. So that's a now screen. Okay. That's how we teach day one. All right. This has been our number 1 play probably for the last 3 or 4 years, but especially and we base all of our RPO game off of this. Now, the beautiful thing about RPOs, if you're a spread guy, is I can run every single one of these RPOs with any of our strong side runs. So once they've learned it for buck, we can run it with our belly series, or this year we're going to run belly read, or if you wanted to run jet or whatever. If you're your zone team, you could run with your zone. It doesn't matter. These RPOs will all pair with any of that stuff. So once you've taught them, you got them for everything. That's why it's kind of an expensive deal, but we tie it all together. We will spend about 5 minutes a day on buck sweep every day. And so we're going to work our guards on how they're pull wrapping, pull kicking, and we're going to work one of the tags off of it each day. So as you're working your practices in, like I said, the beautiful thing about the RPOs is they go with every strong side run. So our kids know when we're working a screen period or an RPO period, okay, that's going to go with any strong side run. All right. You got to be able to run this play against any defense because here's what I want. I don't want to play where my coaches come to me and say, Coach, we can't run that. Like I've had that before as a head coach, and that's a terrible feeling when they come to you and say, we can't run this play because it just cut your playbook into whatever. So we want to have an answer for everything you might do defensively to continue running this. The beauty of the wing T is it's series based. So I know I can run the double handoff off of this. And I know I can run an inside run off of this. I can run waggle. But I wanted it even more than that. I wanted to pair this up with so many RPOs that it was still something I could run no matter what. You have this answer, here's our answer. You have this answer, here's our answer. That's what we're going to walk through today. This is a mindset, guys. So this is a shirt our kids wear, and they're proud of it. Whatever you teach, now I don't want to go on a tangent here, but whatever you teach and you believe in, whether it's buck, it's an inside run, power. I know it's become real popular. Zone. I don't care what it is. Whatever it is, your kids have got to believe in it to the point where they think it's going to work. And our kids believe in buck sweep to the point where the defense knows we're going to run it. We know we're going to run it. We just tell our kids there's nothing they can do about it. And as an offense, there's nothing more inspiring than that. To be able to know I can run this and you can't stop it. Okay. So for us, it's definitely a mindset play. All right, I'm going to go through drills now. So that's all the philosophy, all the general background. We'll go through a couple play side drills because here's what we had to deal with when you run the buck. You're going to have 2 different types of defensive fronts. There's more, I'm sure, but for us, we categorize them in 2. You got penetrators, guys that want to get upfield. They like to blitz. They're building these defenses to handle the spread offense. We don't have to change anything for them. We love playing those teams. Because you get upfield against buck sweep, we're going to score a touchdown. Because all we're going to do is let your momentum take you out of the way. Okay? So that was not a big problem for us. Now you're starting to get teams that are going to be really good at reading blocks. They're teaching their linemen how to read a block. Like a get down block, they're going to fight over the top of it. So we've had to kind of adjust some of our blocking to match that. So the first thing we do when we're scouting a team is we figure out, are they an upfield team? Or are they a technique team? And we're going to make sure that our drills match that. Again, this could be a whole other session, but my big deal on anything we run individually is it needs to marry with the game plan, and it needs to marry with what we're going to see on Friday night. So I think both the drills I'm going to show you today do that. They're things you're going to see exactly done that way on a Friday night, and they're things you can adjust in practice to match up with who they're going to see in a game. Okay. So we came up with a drill. Actually got it from my offensive line, my junior high coach, stole it from him. We call it over the top. So what that means is on buck sweep, what we don't want to allow happen is for the defender to go over our block. If they want to try to run under our block, we feel like that's easy because now we just got to seal them down horizontally. Beautiful thing about the wing T is you don't have to get vertical push. If you're running zone, you kind of got to get some vertical push. You're running power, you got to get a little vertical push. You want to run buck and they want to run to our end zone for touchdowns, that's fine. We'll just shove them to the side and we'll create a gap. We run our buck sweep so tight that we don't have a lot of problems with penetration. Okay, I know that's been a big fear for a lot of guys that run buck. How do you handle penetration? That's the first thing we want. Run upfield. We're just going to shove you to the sideline, and now all we need is a crease. And once we hit that crease, we're gone. Okay, so this is the first drill we'll teach our kids. This is when we put them in down block. You can kind of see, I think this is probably early spring. I can tell because there's a soccer goal up right there. But you're watching, we're going to have a guy. Now, if we were in a real rich school, we would have all kinds of shoots doing this. We don't. So our kid sticks his hand there to kind of give an aiming point. We do want to put our shoulder through the thigh board of that player, and then we want to bring our hand with us. I'm actually going to steal this from Rick Stewart, so I'm going to give him a little credit. We call it T-Rex hand. We have your hand here, and then you're going to bring that with you once you make contact. But we do want to make contact with our shoulder. And we talked about this before. We adjust the drill depending on the defense. So if we're playing a penetrating defense, when we say go, that guy with his hand up is going to walk upfield like he's a penetrator. Our guy's got to work on getting across him. If we're playing a team that is a over-the-top reading kind of team, we're actually going to step a little bit deeper. We're actually going to step towards his back hip, invite them upfield. So we're just trying to figure out what your technique is and make sure we're matching it with our drill. But the drill remains the same. You just teach different aiming points. So I'll kind of run through it here. Hopefully it'll replay for us. So he's going to step. You see his pretty balance right there. Step, and he's going to turn his butt all the way to the end zone right there. We're trying to simulate that nothing crosses our face. Let me see if I can get this one again. There we go. So you'll see as he steps to him, we're going to make contact. We're going to keep short, quick feet, and we're going to turn our butt to the end zone. So if you're teaching a down block or blocking in a gap, we're going to teach this. And guys, it's not much difficult when you second level. I wish I had film on this. I didn't get a chance to record it because we had the whole virus deal hit. I was going to try to get that and add this into the presentation. But if we were doing, and we do the drill, where we block the second level player, all we do is we take that defender and back him up. And now we're working on, all right, now we're blocking a linebacker. Because here's the problems you're going to face on linebackers. Your kids are going to run to where they're standing, and they're going to run right over top of them. They're going to miss them. Okay, so they need to run to where they're aiming. And that's another thing you have to do when you scout a team. Is that linebacker a shooter? Is he going to try to shoot through the gap? Then I need to come flatter on my step. Is that linebacker trying to come over the top and make plays? Then my aiming point changes. So that's something we'll change week to week on game plan. But we also want to make sure we do teach a basic way. So we're going to aim for their upfield hip, allow them to shoot a gap, and then seal them down. So it's the same kind of block. You're just doing a spatial version of it. That makes sense. Okay. All right. The other drill we do is working with our pullers. So that drill right there, every lineman gets because all of them have to learn how to block down. In our offense, all of them at some point are going to block gap down backer on some play. Our guards are going to pull a lot in our offense. So they do this drill. We just call it the hurdle drill. We get the hurdles out and the kids know what's happening. And I've put this out on Twitter, so I think a lot of y'all might have already seen it. But basically, we're working to give our guards aiming points. We're working to bring them with our running backs, okay? We wanted them to run through the contact and not lose speed. And sometimes you've got a guy with a bag, they're either going to light him up and you're going to yell at them, or they're going to slow down because their buddy holding back. So we said, okay, let's get rid of that. We're bringing hurdles in. These big, giant hurdles they run through, which gives them an aiming point. So this one, I think actually is, yeah, this one is, so you can see right here, we have a hurdle set up to, for me, it's my left. For our offense, it's the right. We got the short hurdle there because we're going to pull kick. We want that kid to pull and explode low through the kick. We do teach log is acceptable, but not something we want. We want to kick everything. And so we don't really want a log unless we have to. So just real quick teaching points on him. He'll pull and get a little bit of depth to get out of any penetration that may happen. And then we tell him he's aiming for the inside hip of our wing back. If our wing back gets blown up, you blow up our wing back. And that's the mindset we want him to have, how tight he's got to come. If you don't get this block right, they're going to blow up buck sweep all night. Our backside guard, we allow to do two different things. We used to be the old school where he's got to run through. Some of our kids we still do that with. We've got a few we've allowed to do the skip pull that people are doing on power because they can get wide enough on that. I think you can do both. If your kid can do the skip pull, we like it because he's already squared to the line of scrimmage. And so as long as he can get wide enough on it, we'll allow him to do it. We're RPO, so you can see this ugly guy right here with the hat. That's me giving the quarterback whatever RPO he's reading that week, or that day. We run multiple ones and I'll go through them. So to us, when I talk about potted practices, this drill's going on right now. Our quick tackle is over with our receivers working some kind of RPO or screen, and our linemen, wingback, and tight end that are not in this drill are all working down block. So it's a little different way of thinking because usually your 5 linemen go with your line coach, and right here the line coach is not down there. He's not. The running back coach is down there because he's the one who's going to work with them on pull, kick, pull, wrap. Okay. If we had 2 offensive line coaches, we would have one there and one down there. Okay. And then our receiver coach is working with our quick tackle because our receiver coach knows how to block in space a whole lot more than our offensive line coach. So he's teaching our quick tackles how to make those spatial blocks. It's just a different way of kind of thinking things. All right. Oh, I thought I had it. Okay. Now that's just showing the setup of the drill. I'll get the drill here in a minute. Inside of this drill, we also put a towel in our guards, coming out of our guard shorts in the back, because we want to get the eyes of our running back on that guard. First time you put in buck sweep, you're going to block a massive hole that's there for a cutback, and your kid's going to run to the sideline and get tackled by the guy you're kicking. And you're going to scream at him and holler at him. And I did that for about 1.5 years. And then we came up with this drill. And we went, okay, I like this drill because it makes our running backs get their eyes on the guard. We tell our running back, the guard probably doesn't have the same vision you do, but the guard is a guy you can literally take as a bodyguard and throw into people. So you follow him wherever he goes, and then you cut off of him. So I want your eyes on his butt. Well, the best way to do that is you put something there that he's got to get. So we hang a towel out of his shorts, and our running back's got to get that towel when we practice. And I think I've got it on here. Yeah, here we go. So side drill for you guys. Here's the same drill we showed you. Now, if you'll notice, we have moved the smaller hurdle there for our skip pull kid because we're trying to work with him on staying low through his pull. Okay, we're very early in the spring, which you can tell because I'm wearing jeans because I would never wear jeans during the season, and we're not running any RPOs with our quarterback at this point. Brand new quarterback. We're just trying to get the ball and get a handoff. We'll eventually graduate up to the reads. Okay. So I think this one's going to go real fast. I'm going to run it slow this way. Kind of pause as we go. So you'll see the snap. There's your pulls. So you see we got pull kick with the strong side guard, skip pull with our backside guard. This kid's all state as a junior. We're going to let him skip pull. He can do it. Let him go. If I got another clip on here, the younger kid, we don't let him do that. Okay. But you can see he's going to have a towel hanging from his shorts. See that guard right there? That's exactly what we want with our running back. His hand is on the guard's hip. He's actually reaching to grab the towel. But in a game, that's what we want. Because imagine if you're an inside linebacker right here, and you got a 240-pound guard running at you, and my little bitty popcorn fart of a running back, you can't see him. Okay, because he's right up on the guard, and when he makes his cut, you don't see that kid. Okay, and I don't know about you guys, but in the world I live in, my guards are a lot bigger than my running backs. So we just say, you can hide behind this kid, they will never see you. And it hits so quick, you can kind of see the towel there, and he's running through the hurdle. You see he grabs the towel right there, and he runs through. We want them that tight. One subtle thing about the drill setup, we take the pulling guard's hurdle and we angle it in because we want his eyes moving inside as he blocks. Okay, we will graduate this drill up, and get rid of the hurdles eventually and bring in coaches. So now I've got a kick on a coach and I've got a moving part for that quick guard to find. So that way it's not always the same because it doesn't always hit exactly the same. But we wanted the guard as tight as possible, and you can kind of see how it goes. So I'll run it slow here again for you. So pull kick, pull wrap. Quarterback's carrying out a fake. He's not reading an RPO yet, but he will be. Okay, and then there you go. Pretty simple drills. Those are the two major drills we run. Here's what I talked about. Now I got younger kids. We're not going to let him skip pull. We're going to make him do it the old school way. This is a 9th grade running back and some 9th grade guards. So they're not going to be as good. But you see here, so he's pull wrapping. There's a towel. Now we don't get the towel, but look at the eyes of that 9th grade running back. They're where I want the eyes to be. I would like him to be tighter, but I want his eyes on the rear end of that guard. Because if he makes the cut off of that kid, we're in good shape. You know, especially this kid, he's going to be a good one for us. So he makes the cut off of that kid correctly, he's going to be able to house call. He's reaching for that towel. What it looks like in a game, if I can get it there. Oh, of course, we're going to lock up on me. I may have to restart that for you, Coach. Hang on just a second.
Don't worry.
Come on. He's wanting to freeze up on me. All right, let's restart it. Got a lot of film in there, and they'll restart on me like that. All right, let's try it again.
No, dude, these drills are interesting. I've never thought about them like this before, especially like the pods. Like,
Yeah, we've stole everything, so I can't take too much credit. You know how that goes. So, actually, my junior high coach, who was the old head coach here, I got a lot of drills from him. He's been awesome help for me.
you know, those other ones are the ones that like have that knowledge that, you know, sometimes you just need, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's the deal. We're going to take the best of everything we can, and we're going to, you know, try to blend it all up together. All right. So here's what it looks. Are you ready, Coach? I don't know if you're.
No, yeah.
Okay, you're good.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what it looks like in a game. So that's why we do drills that show up in a game. All right. So when we see a pull wrap, look at the arms. Number one's hand is on the guard. That's a live game shot. I didn't make that up. And the other running back I've got over there, look at his hand. Now, again, imagine if you are an inside linebacker and that's coming at you. You know, even if you're not scared of the guard running at you full speed, you can't see the guy you're trying to tackle. And that's the main thing we're wanting to accomplish with Buck is you can't see him, and it's going to hit quick. All right, I've got a few different things on here for how we handle play side issues. So first play side issue you're going to see if you run Buck is they're going to stick a really good 9 technique over there. That's what I would do if I was defense coordinator. So that's what a lot of them do. And so one of the answers we have is we just call bypass. So because we literally only run 3 strong side run plays, we can spend a lot of time with all our tags and our answers. I would not recommend you do this if you're just playing around with Buck. If Buck's kind of a side thing for you, then I would just teach the base way, use the drills, and move on. But if you're going to live in Buck, then you need to have adjustments because people are going to set their whole defensive game plan to stop it. Okay, so what I mean is this kid right here is a 9 technique. This was a sophomore wingback that couldn't block him, about 150 pounds. It wasn't going to happen. So we call bypass, which tells our wingback here to go block the inside linebacker. It tells our strong guard to kick that kid, and we're going to run it up inside of him. Okay. And I also showed this film because this is before we went to the towel drill that I just showed all you guys. And you'll watch how our running back does not see the hole. Okay. Now, of course, you go back here and let it play. So there you go. There's your kick. There's your round. Look at our running back bounce. First thing he wants to do is bounce out there where they're going to get tackled. Okay. So I'm going to pause it here where he should have cut if he had been running where we've taught now. Not his fault. Okay. Look where the guard goes. 55 is who he should be looking at. If he's looking at 55, we're striking up the bang. We just scored a touchdown. Okay. So this is the reason we have gone to this drill was for issues like that. So that's an issue you're going to face. You're going to have a tough 9 technique, and you're going to have running backs wanting to get through and do their own thing. And if you don't get their eyes where they're supposed to go, you're going to struggle with Buck sweep. So it's 2 different reasons I put that clip on there. And that kid's a really good kid for us, probably one of the best skill kids I've ever coached. Wish I'd had the drill for him. It would have made him run for probably 3,000 yards. But he didn't find the guard there. Problems. Okay. All right. I think. Oh, okay. Other answers we'll do off of Buck. So I've got an extra couple film in here I didn't know I had in here. Other things I can do, I put on here to show what you can do off of buck. I'm going to get into the RPOs here in a minute. Is we pair a lot of things with it that we already run, like the tunnel screen. Okay, so we don't run this super well on this play, but I put it on here just to kind of show. We're in the tunnel now. We bother to block anybody out there. Been a really nice play. But when you run buck really well, or halfway well, teams have got to honor it. So they'll come flying, which opens up the screen game on the backside and the RPO game on the backside as well. When you're first teaching it, what I would recommend is you do, like this is us back in 2016 maybe, when we were just teaching it. So we weren't really good at the actual true RPOs. A lot of ours were Coach Simpson called it. So we're going to run buck or throw a fast screen or a now screen. That's not very expensive. So if you guys are just now doing this, anybody can do that, because all you're doing is running a screen over here and running buck over here. And then you as a coach tell the kid what to do with a signal. Okay, so anybody can do that. It's not expensive. So as you're teaching it, that's where we start with. Okay, then we've moved to as many RPOs as we can possibly run from buck sweep. So these are the 6. And again, we basically handle where is our quarterback capable. Where is he capable? So when people ask me how many do we run in the season, in 2018, I had a senior quarterback who had been in the system for 3 years. We ran all 6. Okay. In 2019, we had a first-year starter who was a senior, but it was his first year to start, and we ran probably 3 of these. This year, I'll have a first-year starter, either going to be a sophomore or a junior. We're probably going to run 2 to 3 of these. And as he develops, we'll add more in. So, because the deal with RPOs, if you're coming from a spread world, you got to rep them, because you're giving your job to a 15-year-old. And you're telling your 15-year-old, you now have the power of my job. And so you've got to be careful how much you teach them and how you teach them. Okay, so these are the ones I'm going to walk through most of these today. So first one we're going to teach is called the peak. And then we've actually adjusted this one and called it key if we don't want to throw it. And I'll explain as we go. Preferable against a forefront, but you can run it against anybody. So basically, we talked about the first part of this session, problems on the play side, which I showed you a couple answers for. Now we're going to talk about problems on the backside. So we started running buck. That inside linebacker we couldn't get to him. We couldn't get to him with a down block, and our guard could never see him. He was shooting gaps and making tackles. So our answer for backside inside linebacker is peak or key. Those are the 2 things we do. So we can't block him. Well, let's read him. All we're going to do is read him like anybody would read him on stretch or zone right. Read him the same way. But if you teach this, you need to teach your quarterback what to do if he messes up. So that means if your quarterback pulls it because he was excited to throw the ball and realizes, that's probably not the smartest move, you got to teach him what to do. We tell our quarterback to always try to run where we're already blocking buck sweep. Okay, that's where he should go. Or if he doesn't want to do that, you can run to where the linebacker vacated. What that means is this: that linebacker went to go cover the peak route. You can run where he left. And that's where we came up with the term key. We started running it on purpose, where we told the quarterback to pull it and run it. If you watch a lot of Oklahoma stuff, they call it zombie. They read the backside inside linebacker instead of the defensive end. So they're going to lock the defensive end and read the linebacker. Same concept. All right, so here's what it looks like. Ignore the play side here, read the backside. So we're going to read the Sam linebacker on this and tell our slot receiver he's got to get inside of the outside backer, and about 7 to 10 yards, the ball ought to be on him. He ought to be at about 70% of his speed with his chest big. And we tell him if you run too fast or you run too far inside, you're going to get smoked. So they learn pretty quickly not to do that. Okay? We generally will start off running a post with our outside receiver. Now, if you got a quarterback that can handle more, you can run the short dig, and now you're kind of getting almost a triple option looking read there. But we run a lot of what we call pyramid. So we run like the 10-yard dig and then the post. So we try to keep it similar so I can run the same play. So that's why we run the post with the peak. But we're going to read the Sam. Okay, so here you go. So the Sam is this kid right here. Now notice this is a 3 front. So you can run against a 3 or a 4 front. It doesn't matter to us. But we like to run against a 5 technique because that's an open window to throw the ball in. Okay? So we're going to read this kid right here. If he chases the buck sweep, which he does, chases the buck sweep like that, our quarterback's already pulling it. Okay, number 6 is the guy we're going to throw the ball to. The ball's on him at about 5 to 6 yards, and then that's your peek route. It's a nice, clean, easy play. It's an easy read. Inside linebacker bites, throw it right behind him. Okay, it's like stealing almost. So it's a nice, easy play for us to run in the RPO game. Now we pair this out of a lot of sets. So I'm not trying to go off on all these different tangents here, but I want to show you how we can do the same RPO, okay, out of a different look, but it's the same read for your quarterback. That's what makes offense beautiful, is that it looks different to a defense, but you didn't have to teach anything different. Now, we actually are running belly here, not buck, so ignore the blocking, but the read is the same, and we're in trips. So that means we're running B, which is our slot, has moved to a trips, peak. It's the same read for the quarterback. He's reading this kid right here. So that kid steps in, we're going to throw behind his ear, and you see what's there. If I had fast kids, that'd be a touchdown. Okay, so it's a nice, simple play for us. We can pair it off of trips, we can pair it off of twins, we can pair it off of buck, we can pair it off of belly, we can pair it off of whatever. And that's where I get to, I tell a lot of coaches, just put a few things in and get really good at them, and then you just tag it. Now I can make it look complicated, but for our kids, they know what a peek route is, and they know how to read that. So it's the same. I don't know. Okay, good. Same deal here. We're running belly to our twins. Okay, we're running belly up here, and we're running peek with our twins. Same read. That same poor kid that we burned earlier. Watch, we're going to burn him again. Okay, so he bites inside. We throw the ball behind his ear, and then we're gone. Okay, because here's the deal. When you play us, you have to play almost split field. So the safety corner on the top of the screen, they got to honor the run. If they don't, we're going to run the crap out of buck sweep on them or belly on them. And if they do honor the run and we happen to complete this, there's nobody home to tackle him. Nobody home to tackle him. Now, we have gone this past year to running what we call key, mainly because my quarterback struggled throwing peek. When I said peek, he thought throw it every time, and usually that doesn't work for well. So we said, all right, we want to read the same kid, but we don't want to throw it because our quarterback was a better runner than he was a thrower. And so we did the same exact blocking, the same exact read. The only difference was we run a fast screen with our receivers or a bubble or something out wide, and our quarterback pulls to run, not pull to throw. Okay, but it's the same exact thing. It's a little safer. So here's what it looks like. We're going to run the same play with a fast screen to occupy the outside backer, the safety, the corner. Our quarterback's going to read that inside linebacker. If he takes off running, we're going to pull the ball and run right where he left. Okay, and so it's become our play key. So you'll see this kid right here. I know it's kind of blurry film. At least it's a butt shot for you. This kid right here is the read right by the referee. As soon as he bites like he does, you see the hole. We pull it, and we stumble all the way down to the 1 yard line. Okay. Now, we should have probably been wider with our receivers, and that outside linebacker wouldn't have come in. I think it's going to repeat. The outside linebacker would not have come in, but you see the giant hole there is. When he pulls it, there's nobody home over there, so it's a big play for us. Almost every time we run an RPO and we actually pull it, we're getting explosive plays. And the reason is because you can see how much they've committed to stopping buck sweep, because we've committed to running buck sweep. If you don't commit to stopping it, we'll lock it and we'll run buck all night. There's been years we've run buck sweep for about 300 yards, and that's the only play we called, to the point where our kids were having to come up with different code words because the defense knew what was coming, because we were going to run buck until you stopped it. That's just kind of my mindset. The RPOs are just a way to protect me. But you see the hole right there. He actually should have probably hit that inside, but I'm not going to yell at him because he got down to the 1 yard line. But you see what happens. All right, here it is again. Now, I put this one in here because we're running the same thing. Here's the same kid. He sits. Okay, so he decided, okay, I'm not letting that big old quarterback run for 50 yards. I'm going to sit home and wait for him. So now he's going to sit home, and then we're going to get our wall, boom, 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 and we're gone because that kid stayed home. He can't make the tackle now. So he stayed home. Our wall got to him, and we're gone. So that's how the RPOs kind of work together. A couple of things too to point on the blocking on this and how the drills all come together. Okay, when you watch it, watch our running back and our pulling guard. Okay, you see his eyes on that guard's butt. They actually have an unblocked player there. They got us outnumbered, but they can't see our running back. Okay, we got the wall to them. Their guy's got to pick in or out, and he can't see the back. So when the back hits up on him, boom, boom, he's gone. So that's where all those drills kind of come together and show up on a Friday night. Okay, you watch our wingback does a phenomenal job on the 9 technique right here, down blocking him. Okay. All right. So the other thing you can pair with this stuff is a fast or a now screen. This is the least expensive of the RPOs because all you're doing right here is running a now screen, or we call a fast screen, or you can run a bubble screen. Okay. So that's a lot of people are already doing this kind of stuff. So I don't spend a lot of time talking about it, but it is something good to protect yourself with. If they want to load the box up and leave you 2-on-1 with your twins, you can throw it out there whenever you want it. What I would encourage you to do is coach up situational football with your quarterback on this stuff. Like 3rd and 1, do we really want to throw the fast screen? You may be okay to throw that. I'm not. So if you're okay, that's fine. Let them roll. But we coached this up. We threw a 5-yard hitch on one of these. We're running a bunch of RPO. We threw a 5-yard hitch on 4th and 1 once, and it was my fault for not coaching up the quarterback. So we've come up with a call now to lock it, where he knows we're running this no matter what. So just something to kind of coach up with your kids. But you can run, I've already shown this several times, a now and a bubble, and it doesn't look like much, but what it does is it makes the team commit 2 to 3 players on the backside. Or a lot of those guys usually make tackles on old school wing T teams. Those backside guys make tackles. And so it kind of protects you a little bit. It's very inexpensive, all right? I'm going to roll through here. We can do the same thing out of different sets. So we'll run all these RPOs out of twins, trips, and a single. So we'll run peak out of a single. Okay, he just runs a slant. And we'll run fast screen out of a single. And if you want to play your corner 15 yards off of him, we'll throw it. Okay, so this is just kind of showing you, doesn't have to always be twins. We got a fast screen at the top of the screen. He doesn't throw it, but he could have. Okay, and we're running buck sweep to the boundary. Okay, so when we run buck, one other thing I'd point out, we like to go to this set to run buck a lot against teams that are man-to-man, okay, or against teams that are playing force with a DB, like they're rolling a safety or a corner up to play force, which we like anyway because our guard's going to kill that kid. But a lot of times if you go to a flop set, which we call this, or an overset, whatever you're going to call it, you lighten the box up, and then we'll take our slot receiver, who's now an outside receiver, and crack. And now we're going to make your corner tackle us. So again, the whole point of offense is make your worst player tackle my best player. And generally, they're not super willing. He actually does there, but they're usually not really excited to tackle a guy coming behind a guard. Okay. All right. So the other RPOs we run, one is we call the old school read. And this is actually how most wing T teams will block buck. They'll leave the 5 technique unblocked and send their quick tackle on a touchdown block. We just call it stovepipe. Like he's right up the pipe. He's heading that way, block the first thing inside, and we're going to read the 5 technique. We generally will pair this with a bubble screen or a fast screen so that if they do kind of overlap your quarterback or send somebody from your receivers, he has an outlet. Because I don't like my quarterback pulling the ball and getting hit. If he pulls it, I want him protected. He can pull it and run it with a guy that's blocking for him, or he can pull it and throw it if you decide to commit a guy. So that's kind of the reason we've gone to a lot of these RPOs. Here's a good example of one. Move my little screen here so I can see it. So we're reading this 5 technique right here. Okay, we're going to cut the 3. We're blocking buck on everybody else. And we're going to read this guy. Okay, and that guy, when he commits down the heel line, we pull it, and there we go. Okay, so that guy has been taught, come down the heel line, make plays. What happened there? Okay. Come down the heel line, make plays. You can see as soon as he turns his head, now we probably could have given this and been okay. We'd have been okay to give it. So you got to decide how you want to teach it. On our RPOs, I just tell the quarterbacks I don't want to overcoach him. If you think that guy can't get you, pull it, make a play. I want our guy to be loose and looking to make plays. Okay, they learn pretty quickly if they pull it at the wrong time and they get smoked, they probably should have given it. But he realized 52 is chasing down the heel line right here, and he pulls it, and you can see the play. That kid never even sees him. That's an old school zone read play that a lot of guys have in. We pair it with a fast or a now screen at the top, which you can't see, unfortunately, because that occupies the DBs. So if they wanted to play some kind of roll coverage where a DB was going to attack my quarterback, he's got an outlet. And I've got one here I think that we read the full field on. All right, the next one we run is a steal call. So now I can read your backside inside linebacker. I can read your coverage. I can read your 5 technique. Now I wanted to be able to read the other problem that wing T teams have, that 3 or 4 eye on the backside that we can't cut. He's just coming down the heel line and making plays all over us. Okay, so we get a lot of this look. So we had to figure out a way to read that guy. So we just call steal. Now, again, I've taken everything from really good people. This is actually from Pat Murphy in Montana. He's who came up with the idea of this. Now we've kind of expounded upon it with pairing it with other RPOs, but the idea of reading that guy, I would give him credit. We took it from him. Okay, so basically you're reading a 4 eye or a 3 on the backside. We've paired this up with bubbles and with now screens and a new one we call BOGO, bubble and go, to give us kind of a 4-level RPO. Okay. We tell the quarterback we want to run the ball if he pulls it. So if you pull it, we want you to run. But if somebody comes to you from space, we're going to give you the RPO where you can throw it later. And I'll show you, I've got a couple on here where all of them happen. So here's the idea. We're going to read this 3, 4 eye, whatever you want to call them, the guy that's making plays. We're going to read that guy. We tell our quick tackle, you're blocking the first thing outside. So if you reach outside and something blitzes, you can kick it, you can reach it, you can do whatever you want to it, just get it blocked. If nothing shows up, so you go out there and that guy runs with the bubble, then hinge back inside and protect our quarterback from an inside linebacker. Because I've learned that most defenses are going to have somebody accounting for the quarterback. It's either going to be an inside linebacker who's coming or an outside linebacker who's coming. So we want to make sure we get him protected. So we just tell the quick tackle, if something comes quickly, you kick it and we'll run underneath it. If nothing shows up, hinge back. And you'll see how both of these kind of play out for us. All right, so this one, here's our quick tackle. He is going to step out and block this guy. This is the guy we're reading. I think he's lined up in slightly inside shade 4, so I'd call it a 4 eye. When he pulls and we kick, and we're gone. Because you saw how the hole opens up. And when that guy chases down the heel line and you pull it, there's nothing there. You know, we run buck sweep this night for a lot of yards. We also run a lot of our RPOs for a lot of yards. So it's a nice, easy read for your quarterback. If this kid right here goes inside, which he does, see him going inside, chasing the guards, you can kind of see, actually, it doesn't even have great technique. He goes inside, we pull it, and there we go. It's a nice, easy play. We had run it on that one with a now screen at the top. So what that means is, hey, let's say this guy had gone out or whatever had happened, they'd spun a guy down. He could have pulled the ball right here and thrown the now screen. That's still there. You know, if that outside linebacker wasn't there and he had a clear vision, we give him another option. Okay. All right. Same thing here. Okay, we're going to read 54 right here. We're going to read 54 right here. So we're going to block out here. We're blocking a fat or bubble screen on this one. So you see the bubble we're running. Okay. We're blocking out on the outside backer. And you see when he pulls it, 54 runs down the heel line to tackle the guy running buck. And when we pull it, this probably should have been a touchdown, but for whatever reason, we ran back into the safety. I'm not quite sure, but you got to get the idea of where the hole is going to be. Pull, boom, there we go. All kinds of room in there. And so that's what we call steal with a bubble and with a fast screen. You see kind of how it works. Okay. All right. Here it is again, but we're going to give it. So now we have it going on. I want you to watch what happens. So this kid and this kid who you just watched give up a touchdown are now still in the game. And when that guard or that tackle reaches out, they freeze. I can't run down the heel line because he's already pulled it. So we better stay home. So if they stay home, I only have to block 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys. And I have 7 guys. We don't even do a good job on this one, but we have 7 guys block 5 guys. And so that's the idea behind all the RPOs, to protect it, to block it, hit it. And of course, that kid's just faster than their kid, so it makes me look really good. But you get the idea. When you run the steal, they freeze. We block 2 guys by not touching them. You know, and that's kind of the idea behind it. Okay. Here's the next level of it. So if you want to kind of grow to the next level, we'll run what we call our bubble. We tell our bubble guy, if you don't catch it immediately, run to the void. Like run to the void that's created, which a lot of times will be about 7-10 yards downfield. Okay. And you'll be wide open, because here's what happens. They're going to cover you with either a spun down safety or an outside linebacker, and they're going to have a quarterback running at them. It's going to be really hard for that guy to cover you and honor the quarterback. So if he turns his back and runs with you, we're going to run for 100 yards off that. If he squats, we're going to throw it right over his head into where the void is. And so you'll kind of see on this play, I think we run freeze. No, here it goes. So we pull it. Also, I want you to watch quick tackle on this. Our quick tackle attacks. That guy jumps inside and we seal him. So it doesn't always have to be a kick. Okay. We get him sealed right here. All right. Now, our quarterback should run the ball right here, but we build in things to protect him. So if somebody comes from space, like a DB decides, like you're going to see here, I think it's a safety maybe, comes from space to tackle him, then throw the RPO, then throw it out there. You'll watch our bubble here ends up going upfield. We just throw it to the void. Touchdown. Backyard football. And that's all it is. You're just designing it in to let your athletes have a chance. When they commit to go tackle the quarterback, all right, we'll just throw it over your head. You know, and so it's a simple, easy, clean read for our guys. We'll also pair this with a bubble and a go, where we'll tell the receiver to actually run a go or run a post to even open it up even more from time to time. So it just gives you kind of different options. Okay. We'll run read routes, which again, a lot of these things are stuff people are already doing. Okay. So like for us, this actually is peak. So we're running buck sweep to the right, and we're running the peak concept to the left. Same read, or now it's not 2 receivers or 3 receivers, it's to the single. His read was right there. So his read is already blitzing, and we're throwing it right behind him. Boom, touchdown. Okay. We had off coverage, inside leverage, pull it, throw it, touchdown. Nice, easy play. So we can run to the single, to the twins, to the trips. Doesn't matter to us. Okay. We could run the read route too, so we can change the route up if we'd like to. Okay. I think this is the same one I've already showed you, but he's running a fast screen at the top. So just showing it doesn't always have to be, you know, to our twins. What is this one? Oh, same deal. We don't throw this one. He should have read it better. We started reading third level defenders. So for us, that means the safety. We're going to read the safety. So we got halfway decent at this. We weren't able to do it this year. What that means is if this safety right here rolls down to make a tackle, we're going to tell our receiver on a crack and go. And we're going to read that guy. It's almost like throwing a post, like a play action, but you're RPOing it. So you're blocking buck sweep. Now you see the safety committed. Our quarterback should have held it in there a little bit longer, because look at the crack and go, how open it comes. Boom, boom. There it is. If he'd held that read a little longer, he should have been able to throw the touchdown. Okay, so it's something we've gone to now where we can read a third level defender. So those are very expensive RPOs, and as you can tell, they're hard to run and hard to read. But if you get to where you can read them, to me, if you read a first level defender in an RPO, you're going to get a pretty good play. If you read a second level defender, you're going to get an awesome play. If you read a third level defender correctly, it's a touchdown. So we try to build our RPOs in horizontally and vertically. Okay, but we're building them off the same play. And this is really nasty because it's a play side RPO. You're reading a guy who has to come force on a tackle, and you're reading a play side RPO. And so it's something we've played around with. We've not gotten good enough with to do. All right, last part I've got on here, Coach, is how to handle non-zone teams. So how do you kill an RPO? If you're a defense coordinator, you go man zero. That's how you kill an RPO. RPO is dead. You can throw one-on-one, but now there's not an RPO because my guy's got your guy. So the other way we'll protect buck sweep is through motions. Okay, if you want to go man zero against us, we're going to formation you to death, and we're going to motion you to death. Because if you're man zero, we're going to send a guy from over here to this side of the field, or we're going to send a guy from over here to that side of the field, or we're going to go empty. And now you got to answer that. How are you going to handle that playing man zero? And so here's man zero. Guy comes in motion. They're having to spin guys down. We run buck sweep. Okay, it's the same play, but you've now had to move your entire defense to cover the motion, and you've left yourself open to buck. You know, it's an easy play for us. Our kids learn nothing. That's already in. All right, guys, we're going to run a guy in motion. He's going to run a bubble, and then we're going to run buck. Okay, we're actually running bow go on that. Our X receiver's running a go route. And so it's a pretty simple answer for, all right, man zero, here's our answer. Okay, I think I might have, yeah, here's same team, still man zero, still same answer. Bring the guy in motion behind him, spin down, okay, and then boom, boom. Okay, and the other thing I want to point out on this is when you watch it, we talk about how the guys can't see our running back, okay? So right here, that safety is not going to get blocked. We can't block him. He's a DB. He's got an extra guy. He can't see our back. I mean, you can see him because the film we're looking at, but we have 240-pound guard. We have a 260-pound guard like this, and our back's somewhere there behind him. Well, that guy can't see him. So when he makes the cut, boom, boom, there he is, and it hits so quick, you're gone. So to me, I love RPOs. I'm all for them. But if you can't run buck good, your RPOs are going to suck, because why would they honor the RPO? And they're going to be all over that, run buck. So you better be really good at running your base play if you're going to put RPOs with it. All right, Coach. I think that's what I got for you as far as presentation. There's a lot of stuff, I know. So
No, that was great, Coach. Thank you for spending some time to explain all that. That was awesome. I do have a couple questions for you, though.
okay.
I'm not sure if other guys ask you the same things, but you talked about how the quick tackle needs to be like a really smart player, right? First thing is, does that mean you guys flop your line?
Yes, sir, we do. We flop our line. One, for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
Our quick tackle, if you were looking, like if a college came to visit us, our quick tackle is the guy they'd want to recruit. He's probably, if we had one prototype-ish lineman, that's who it's going to be. Our guards are generally overgrown linebackers. They're smaller guys that can move. They're athletic. Our quick tackle is usually our best as far as collegiate prospect type kids. Okay. For that reason. Yeah.
Cool. When you guys are running your peak concept, what are you telling that slot receiver or that X receiver? Are you just telling them to, run a slant, or are you telling them to find the grass that has been vacated? Like, what are you guys telling them?
Find the grass is the main thing for us. Now we're like the peak. We're not really going to run that against man-to-man teams because they're going to kill it by going man. So sure. For us, it's essentially like we run a lot of curl routes in our offense. So they understand the concept of run to the vacated area and don't run through it. Mm-hmm. The idea is you got to get inside. Once you get inside, you want to choke it down so we can put it on you in that big old hole they're creating. So that's kind of how we teach them. They do have to win inside against an outside backer, though.
Okay. All right. And then my last question, one of the things I got really interested in was you were talking about how you said you treat your line individually, and then you went and talked about pod practice, right? Yep. Can you briefly explain that real quick? Like how, if there's no like individual work, then how does the practice like break down?
Yeah, no, we do. We will start off usually with about 10 minutes of individual with all position groups. Their coach gets them. Now the line, because I don't know about you, but most of my linemen aren't going to play special teams. So that we kind of steal an extra 10 minutes for them right then. So they'll actually get 20 minutes with their individual line coach when he can go through stance and double team, whatever they're all going to do. So, but our concept was we don't want to, like we mentioned earlier, we flop our line. So I don't need my strong tackle working on reach blocks because he's never going to do that, or pulling. He's never going to do that stuff. So we said, okay, how can we not have him stand there holding a bag, wasting his time? So we came up with the idea of, so we go individual practice for about 10 minutes. Then we do pod work for about 10 minutes. And inside of that's not always buck sweep. Sometimes we'll be working counter or belly or whatever. We take whatever guards are going to be wrapping and whatever kids might possibly run the ball on that. So that could be our quarterback, running back, slot receiver, wing back, whoever. They go with our running back coach and me, and we work them. Because our running back coach is the guy I want talking to everyone who's going to touch the ball and how to handle it, how to cut, how to whatever. Then we'll take any kid involved in the RPO, usually our quick tackle, and most of the times our receivers, and they'll go over there and work. Now, I don't want to get too deep in this, but we also work a jet series deal.
Mm-hmm.
So jet, we crack with our receivers. So we bring them and our quick tackle together with all the skill kids. So all the skill kids plus the quick tackle work our jet series, while the rest of our line is down there working whatever. So it's just basically we're breaking them down into what play we're running, and not so much with their position coach, because our quick tackle in one day of practice may work with the O-line, the wide receivers, and then he may go work with the running backs coach if we're working a screen, like a slow screen. So that kid may have 3 different coaches working with him to get him better at his blocking.
That's a really good idea. Honestly, dude, like this stuff has been really cool, because honestly, like in my mind, like an RPO for us is waggle.
Yeah, no, and here's the deal. I think sometimes you can get crazy with these things. Like this year, we've got a young quarterback, so we probably won't do as many mesh RPOs, but we'll do a ton of you run or throw RPO, which is still an RPO. It's just it simplifies it. But yeah, a play action pass is the original RPO.
Right. Well, Coach, I really appreciate you taking the time to come out and talk some ball with us. I mean, this has been great. Do you have anything that you want to talk about before we sign off?
No, man, I appreciate what you guys do, and anybody that's watching this, I know it's kind of an odd time of the, just not a great time as far as football's going on. You're probably missing your kids and all that, but hopefully, I think it's been cool how guys like you and other guys that have been around are trying to give back to the football community, and reach out to me if I can help you at all.
Cool. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it.
Hey, man, no problem.
Hey, guys. Thanks for watching another home clinic from chiefpigskin.com. Do us a favor and hit that like and subscribe button down below. And make sure you check out all of our other content at chiefpigskin.com. And thank you, guys. We appreciate you.